Well, welcome to what is our first webinar as part of our Smarter Integrations Week. And our first cab off the rank from an integrations point of view is with BGL and more specifically, Simple Fund 360. So today we're going to not only work through some elements of the slides, but most importantly, we want to take you through how the actual integration works with Simple Fund 360, whether you are ordering from within the Smarter SMSF platform, and we'll go through our new Beta 2.0 platform and show you the integration from within there. But we will also highlight how you can utilize our integration from within Simple Fund 360, where we've built a dedicated platform that enables you to fast track orders through that process as well. In terms of what else we're going to cover today, we are going to explore, as I said, what is naturally available, look at and understand some of those key differences between why you might order documents from Smarter SMSF versus why you might use a Simple Fund 360 report, and understanding, I guess, some of those nuances and differences that we have there. And as I said, this is really a practical session where we want to highlight and showcase that two-way integration. And what I mean by the two-way integration is that it not only allows you to pull down that BGL data, enabling you to populate the order forms on the Smarter SMSF platform to be able to order documents, but also you can post data from the completed orders that have happened and send that back into Simple Fund 360. That can be done when we think about things like a fund establishment, and also with a company incorporation if we want to set up that new SMSF within Simple Fund 360. But equally, when we might be doing a certain document order, such as say a trust deed upgrade, again, we can send the document back into the document section within Simple Fund 360 to enable that to be stored for the client and then potentially signed by the client using Simple Fund 360 as well. And then we'll finish off today's session just sharing some insights about what's ahead in terms of the Smarter SMSF platform and how that translates with the BGL integration as well. So a little bit about us first, for you to help understand where we sit in the marketplace when it comes to not only our documents, but of course we are well known in the education and around SMSF technical support. We have around 1,400 users now across the Smarter SMSF platform. Some pay us a subscription fee and order hundreds of documents each and every year. We have some people that come on and order one, and we may or we may not ever see them again. In addition to, or not in addition, as part of, I should say, the 1,400 users, there are around 900 BGL users that we know that have utilized the platform in some way, shape or form. We are predominantly a B2B business, so we support accountants and advisors and other professionals working within the SMSF sector. And all of the documentation that we produce and gets generated on our Smarter SMSF platform is owned by us and is created by us as SMSF specialists. So we know there are a range of our competitors in the marketplace that enter into, in essence, third-party relationships. And we know some of those third-party relationships, if they don't kind of go the way that they're meant to, have blown up over the past. And all that does is put undue pressure and risk on you and the relationship that you have with your client. So one of the things I did very deliberately when my business partner Ian Glenister retired, practicing solicitor, was Smarter SMSF acquired all of that document IP off him. So the SMSF deed, all those other relevant legal documents that Ian had developed over a long period of time, we bought those all in-house, and therefore they can be managed by us and controlled by us alongside the platform as well. What that means then is that when we have all of these documents that need to be reviewed, drafted and so forth, we need to ensure, and they are ultimately prepared by an Australian legal practitioner. And most importantly, we then have our relationship with Hill Legal, who then on a regular basis are reviewing as the appointed lawyers for Smarter SMSF. Our trust deed, things like our LRBA documents, our changes of trustee, etc., making sure that all of these things line up with the changes that we're seeing in the laws, relevant case law, so on and so forth. And we will be seeing a number of changes at the 1st of July with our deed updates and across our LRBAs and so forth. Again, all of these discussions that we're having on a regular basis with the team at Hill Legal, and then ultimately is being prepared and signed off by them as our appointed lawyers. And the other thing that we've done within this financial year is we've then also introduced our Smarter Legal Review. We know a number of practices want to have that legal sign-off sitting behind certain documents that have been done. So maybe it's a trust deed upgrade or a change of trustee or binding death benefit nomination. Those documents that are being prepared on the Smarter SMSF platform, you want to have that legal assurity that sits behind that. And that's really what our Smarter Legal Review has been designed to do. We continue to grow our number of SMSF documents on the platform. And as I touched on earlier, that has the opportunity for you when you're ordering documents subject to the number of documents that you may require over a 12-month period. You can do that either via subscription or you can simply pay as you go. Now, what are we all about at Smarter SMSF in terms of the platform? We clearly have a great focus on automation. And the reason behind that automation is to be able to tap into the technical specialization that we have within our business, but ultimately how we can deliver that in a way that is efficient for you, saving you time, saving you money, and reducing the rate of errors that the integrations then therefore provide us. We've spoken about the Smarter Legal Review there that gives you that underpinning of the assurity of that legal sign-off. And then from a platform perspective, all of the data and the way in which we run our platforms are all done through Amazon Web Services. So the data is hosted and stored in their Sydney warehouse there, in essence, their data warehouse. All of the orders and user consoles and stuff, you get that access to be able to manage the way in which the subscription runs, the different user permissions, the order details, and we'll talk about that a little bit more shortly. The ability for you, if you're ordering on a pay-as-you-go basis, the fact that we have multiple different credit card options there for you. All of our platforms are all obviously covered with SSL certificates to ensure that that credit card data is stored and stored appropriately. And then once you order those documents, you not only have access to them via the platform, but you'll get the completed orders by email as well. And that can take anywhere from a minute or two to maybe 4 or 5 minutes, just subject to the complexity and the number of document combinations that sit behind each and all of these orders. And then on that completed orders page, we then have a number of actions that you would be able to undertake from that page to enable you to do maybe a next step, or as we've spoken about before, the ability to post that information off to your SMSF software. There is the ability to do saving of orders, and we'll talk a little bit about that as we work through today. And some documents under your subscriptions would allow you to reset those orders if you need to make an adjustment to those with your SMSF clients. We have a number of tooltips within the order forms, and we have a fully referenced knowledge base that provides you with sample documents and videos and so forth as well. So what we might do is we might just go through and really tick off those elements of the platform to make sure that you understand them and view them in the context of the integrations and stuff that we have here as well. And finally, as we do this, we are subject to each and every year the requirements of BGL's security standards. So we go through each and every year a security assessment to make sure that we comply with the ATO's digital service provider framework. So an assessment each and every year for that. So we're in our main platform here at the moment, and then we have ultimately over here our new document platform. So the one thing, if I just go back to here, what you can see is the fact that we have each of these documents, and then within the document itself, we have the actual integration. So we're going to go back and have a look at this in more detail shortly, but this is one of the key things that we've now put into our new document platform that enables you to choose the integration that you have at the front, at the top of the page. We did speak about on that previous slide the fact that we have a knowledge base. So the knowledge base here gives you access to guides about how the integration works. So if we type in BGL, there'll be a whole range of references there about things like resetting or connecting to order documents. If you want to look at a sample document, say around a trust deed, update or upgrade, you can go in and you can view the sample document here as well. And whenever we make relevant changes, you will always have access to the change log, and that change log would give you the full history of what in essence has happened in those deed changes to make sure that you can see what is going on as part of the current version that the client may ultimately have. So if we jump back here again into the form, the other things that you'll see is these tooltips. So the fact that you can get further information about understanding the specific question that we might be asking. We also reference things like, well, if you're using the Smarter SMSF deed, then we'll provide you with the relevant rule in there. Some of our order forms now automatically populate that rule number for you. Again, just all about how we can save you some time in that particular ordering process as well. And as I said, you have both a saved orders functional area. So you can go in and view whatever saved order you may have there. And that becomes important in the context of the staff that might be doing that work. So you could potentially be doing that work yourself and you just need to grab more information, so you can store that information and pick that order up from there and move on. And this applies whether it's in our own platform or whether it's in the BGL platform itself. You've got the ability to do that. And then in the completed orders area, again, you've got all these additional functions built into the Actions tab, and we'll come into these a little bit more shortly. But ultimately, you've got the ability to not only download your document, you can reset your document here. You can push your document into different document storage solutions you can see there. But we then also have the ability to utilize integration features here in this instance to post data back into Simple Fund 360 or send the document in there as well. And again, we'll come back to those few things. I just wanted to touch on those key areas as well. And the final one that we spoke about in that slide is what we call our user manager or user console here, that really gives you all the detail about the different staff that are under the subscription. So we do have a number of users that might have a subscription of 100 or 250 documents, potentially even more, and you have multiple staff that would be utilizing that subscription. So what we do here is we have a centralized orders console that gives you the ability to see who those users are, and then most importantly, what level of access that they have. So whether you're looking at the detail of the subscription, you can see here, you can track some of the usage of those different individuals. But the other most important thing is you can see in here, as the parent, I then have access to be able to see all of the orders of all of the team members that are under the subscription of that Smarter SMSF doc sub. So if I want to go in and I want to go and pick up a saved order of a particular team member, I can go in, I can then look at that, and then I can go and review and complete that particular order. But equally, I can go in and I have full visibility over all of the team's orders. So if I want to go in and be able to download a particular document, well, then I've got access to that as well. So we see these elements of this user manager area as being crucial to our overall document subscriptions, because it just gives you access to all of the areas of the firm to be able to make sure that you can have oversight of what's going on. And a lot of this was built off the back of the BGL integration that we did, because as is the case in Simple Fund 360, each of you have your own login. So the subscription is with the firm, and therefore that same principle was needed within the Smarter SMSF platform once we built our specific document integration as well. So the reality here is that you will have a firm subscription that you can see here. We arrange with you to set up the different members that you need. Over time, we're adding the user management function to be able to invite users. You'll be able to remove users and bring that other information in. You can see the referencing to the BGL short firm code there to be able to make sure we're aligning those individuals where appropriate. So you have that visibility in essence here over who's doing what and what you can access as part of that document subscription. So that's just I guess, a snapshot around the platform itself, as we spoke to in the slides just a second ago about the platform. So let's now sort of jump back in again. And before we jump in and have a look at that a bit more specifically, why did BGL choose us? We do have a long-standing relationship with BGL in terms of the partnership and the way in which we've worked together for a long period of time. And I guess, anyone can ultimately be an integration partner, and you have to go through a cycle of that. But when we talk today about some of the additional work that's been done with BGL, this does come about because we are a trusted reference in the SMSF industry. BGL recognise that their focus, yes, they are a compliance software business, but their focus is software, not specialist documents. Yes, they do provide reports, but there is an important understanding about where those reports sort of get to and then where those reports ultimately stop. So they made the decision to partner with a specialist provider with an integrated technology solution and capability, and therefore they chose us to actually help develop a product that would enable their clients to be able to order documents directly from within Simple Fund 360. The other thing here that was becoming more and more and more important is the fact that the documents that you do order from within Simple Fund 360 are very generic in what they do. So the fact that it might talk to the ability to start a pension, but it doesn't align itself back to a specific deed. So again, this provided a solution that allowed you to prepare certain documents that can link back to an SMSF deed. Again, that Smarter SMSF deed, the Smarter SMSF pension documents, the binding death benefit nominations, so on and so forth. And then on the basis of maintaining currency of that information, it enabled us to manage that process ourselves without having to send documentation to BGL all the time and having them maintain the version controls and so forth of the documents that we might be sending through. So the integration enables us to sort of do that control, and then we have our single sign-on process that brings those two together. So we are a trusted solution, as I said, to BGL. We provide a lot of training, not only as a reseller through Simple Fund 360's BGL Learning Channel, but we also have that utilised within their own teams. And if you go to the BGL Simple Fund Invest 360 updates each and every month with Jeevan, you'll see my face on there each and every month as we provide a bit of a technical update, but obviously as well what's new and happening with Smarter SMSF. So as part of the solution with BGL, one of the things that we have done is we have provided a preferred level of PAYG pricing. So what you see on the Smarter SMSF site, generally, when you look at the PAYG pricing list, is not necessarily what you'll see when it comes to the pricing for certain documents via Simple Fund 360. So whether you order documents within the Simple Fund 360 process or you order it via the Smarter SMSF platform, the system is smart enough to recognize that you are a BGL user. We apply that relevant tag as part of the process, and then the condition will reduce the price accordingly. So those discounts will be anywhere between 5 and 6%, all the way through to 40% on particular documents. Okay, and you can jump on the website to have a look at that list. If once you've logged into BGL and you order documents through there, you'll see that list come up and you'll see the PAYG pricing there. Naturally, members who order documents, the conditional pricing reduces that fee to zero, with the exception, of course, of the company orders, which you are required to pay the ASIC fee and an admin fee that we have as part of that process as well. And whilst we have an ever-growing list of documents, if that document isn't available via the BGL platform that we have, you can fold back to the Smarter SMSF platform. And again, the BGL pricing will apply there as well. So how do you get started in terms of this process? So what we've got here is a 4-step process, and we're going to jump into this shortly. But ultimately what we're doing is we're connecting from within BGL across to the Smarter SMSF platform. And this will enable you to order documents within Simple Fund 360, okay? From there, for a first time sign up, there will be either the ability to choose to order pay as you go, and it's simply you start now, or you would go off and purchase a particular bundle that would be relevant to you. That's your step 3 if you decide to choose that. But if you're simply starting and getting underway, you will ultimately land in a dashboard that you can see there at step 4, and then it will allow you to go and order the particular documents. And from there, you'll be able to choose the client that you have connected to Simple Fund 360 to order from the suite that we have available. Now, as part of that process that connects you from one to the other, what we do get is we get a confirmation from BGL that the user has connected between Smarter SMSF and Simple Fund 360. So you will get a welcome email. What we get is the name, is your name, first name, and your email address. Okay, that is the only information that we get as part of that journey. So the important next step from our side is that we need you to do 2 things. One is we need to ensure that the double opt-in process from email marketing point of view has been completed. Why is that important? Because if you are ordering documents on a pay-as-you-go basis, for us to ensure that you get a copy of your tax invoice, for example, and you're getting other information from us about new documents, other updates, and so forth, if you don't go through that double opt-in process, then of course you're not going to get those emails. They may end up in some sort of spam filter, junk filters, and then you fall out of the system, ultimately having had some sort of hard bounce or bounce as well. So then what we do is we, in essence, send through to you a data collection form. So because BGL is only sending to us that your name, first name, and email, we want to make sure that we are capturing the right information. Because if you go in and you order an investment strategy document, for example, and then we send the tax invoice to you, that tax invoice is ultimately going to come out in your name only, maybe first name. It's going to have your email address in it. It's not going to be in the name of the firm that you probably want that tax invoice to be. So to ensure that we have all the valid information to enable for that tax invoice to appear and occur properly, we need to make sure that we capture all that extra information as well. Okay, so again, we've got a whole range of material that we send to you, and what you can see on the right-hand side here gives you an example of what the email looks like when it gets sent to you. But as always, if you have any questions about the process, you're stuck, then we do have a dedicated support service. So the fact that you can call us, you can raise a ticket either to support@smartersmsf.com or via the website. You'll see a little beacon on the bottom right-hand corner that will enable you to submit that ticket, and then it will get triaged within the team at Smarter SMSF. So we'll go in and we'll show you all that sort of process a little bit more shortly. But these are some of the features that we've put together around the integration. So with the new SMSF, we have the ability to push that information back into Simple Fund 360. So You go through, you'll order a brand new fund. You may have done a corporate trustee. We'll come to that sort of functionality shortly. But what we're sending back is the fund name and the code, the establishment date, the deed provider and the date, the fund, the trustee, the member details, and then we can send back as well the documents to the document area if you want to get that signed by your clients. For a company with the special purpose company, again, similar sort of processes with CAS 360 insofar that we can set up the trustee company name, the director and shareholder information, and again, we can send the constitution through. So there's some of the, what I call the posting features that we currently have. We're also working on at the moment the ability to post updated information around the deed update. So if you will have recently seen with Simple Fund 360 that you've got the history of the fund deeds that you can now put into Simple Fund 360. So we're working on that information being able to be posted into it as well. But the other aspects that we have really built out is around getting data, pulling that data from your SMSF software to be able to then generate the documents. Okay, so this is where we're enabling ourselves to populate as much of the order form as the BGL API allows us to do. And where there are some shortcomings, we have worked with Simple Fund 360 and the team, the dev team at Simple Fund 360 to fill that gap. And we did that recently with our pension commencement documentation so that we're getting the member components into it as much as getting the the fund and the member and the trustee details as well. So little things that we've done in more recent times is we've been building out these document flows. So the fact that if you do a brand new fund establishment, you can naturally start at the ordering of a company, and that company, once it's been ordered, you'll then be able to use that action to send it into CAS 360. The company, once it's been done, we then want to automate that flow from the company into the new SMSF. So anything in that company order form that can be transposed and we don't therefore need to re-enter that information, we have mapped across into the new SMSF form. We would then fill out the rest of that form and then generate our new SMSF documents. And again, we can send into Simple Fund 360 the data that is relevant to set up the new fund and the documents to get that signed as well. And the final aspect that we've done in this so far is that with the new SMSF, we can use all of that data from the new SMSF and company form to complete the ABN and TFN. So we have a full integration to do the ABN and TFN as well. And again, once that ABN has been issued, you will be able to update and send that ABN back into Simple Fund 360. So you now have or will have in there your funds, your trustees, your members, and the ABN. And again, we're working on a number of other aspects as part of this process, also looking at things like LRBAs. So what are the documents, what are the suite of documents that get looked at together as a process that we can save time on and use the data around that as well. And the other ones that we commonly see are things like pension reboots, and then also things like changes of trustees where we might have a company, the change of trustee and a deed upgrade at the same time. So if there are other aspects of that, then more than happy to have a look at that further with you as well. So let's jump back into the platforms here and take you through this in a little bit more detail. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time today on the Smarter SMSF existing platform because we are in the process of, in essence, decommissioning this. So what I guess the big change just to note here is that when you wanted to order from our existing platform, we had a dedicated area to the integrations that you would set up here. Okay, the big change to our new platform, so you can see this up here, that you can also access from Create New Beta here that single signs you on. So I've just basically brought ourselves across to here. And then what you can see is we're going through a process of adding people in or adding documents in to enable people to order those as they go. So what we have here is our investment strategy. I might just use this one for the sake of simplicity. And as you can see here, we have in all of these forms the ability to connect our integration. You can always hover over here and you'll be able to see whether something is connected or not. And as I touched on in the initial part, if you go through a process where the data isn't flowing through, there is help guides in here to be able to reset documents. So if we need to go back and reset an integration, then you have the ability to go in and understand how that works. So you've got all that information there to assist you with that process. So in here, what we're going to do is we're going to connect our Simple Fund 360 data. Enables us to then choose the firm. If you want to switch the firm, you can do that. If you want to restrict the entities, you've got all that information to be able to edit what ones you want to add or restrict to different individuals. So all those controls are available in here. So I'm just simply going to authorize this process. And what that is going to do is it's now going to allow me, once this information has come across, so we can see that here, and it now allows me to go in and choose the fund that I want to then populate. So based upon the information I have in here, I've got my Citizen Superannuation Fund, and I'm now going to choose my Citizen Superannuation Fund here, and it's going to allow me to import all of the information that we have within the integration to fill out this form for us. So this is a fairly, I'd call vanilla order form, where really what we're doing is we're getting base level information for the investment strategy, because a lot of it needs to be completed by the trustees themselves. But what you can see here is that it's picked up the fund name, it's picked up the reference, picked up the fund address, it's validated the fund address most importantly. A little tooltip here that if you put a space after it, we do have a fairly comprehensive integration around addresses. So if you want to look at levels, you want to look at suites, all those things, it will be in here. Sometimes we find people like to use a different suburb name, so to what may be on the database. If there is a difference, then what you do is you simply go into the manual address input and you can override it there. So what I'll do is I'll just bring this one back in. Is the 350 Collins Street. And the reason why that becomes important is because when you have a different area that has an address, it then comes in the drop down here as well. So again, it's just saving you time in that process to go, well, if it didn't pop, if I didn't choose that here by the space, then it wouldn't allow me to select it here, and I'd need to then choose another address and write it in again. So just again, a little tooltip there to deal with. In this instance here, we've got our individual trustees. We've got John Citizen, who is a fund member. We've got Jane Citizen, who's a fund member. And then the information that we have in here is really not stuff that we're dragging out of Simple Fund 360, okay? Because we don't know, is it for a new SMSF or an existing SMSF, for example? The asset concentration here is around whether we want to produce an additional minute or not. I'm not going to bore you with this information because it's not that relevant to the integration piece here. But what you can see is that there are some very specific things that we've put in place, and we have the tool tips here designed to give you the reference points to help understand some of this information as well. We then give you the opportunity to choose those asset ranges. And as I said, you've got the choices around addresses and meeting dates and so on and so forth. So I might just quickly complete this other information so we can get to the next page, just to quickly explain for you the process of what happens once this order has been completed. So this gives you the ability to review all of the information in here. You will get a confirmation email in respect to the order information that you can see here as well. Okay, if you are ordering this on a pay-as-you-go basis, then you will see a price in here that will be reflective of the standard PAYG price, or if you are a BGL client, the BGL price that has been confirmed for the investment strategy report. As a member, in this instance for me, I have a zero price that then simply allows me to place the order, and then it will deduct that off my counter because of the completion of that particular order. Okay, so fairly simple process in terms of the science behind it is that if you remember, pick the package that you want, because we then have a team that has access to that subscription. Anyone within that team that creates that order will have that amount deducted off the counter, and you can see all of that information in the user's console that I spoke about a little bit earlier on. You will then get emails in respect to the orders. You'll see a whole range of these just started to turn up here. Thank you for your order. Here's all the details of your order as well. And then what ultimately happens is once you've got a particular order, and I'm just going to go down to here, you'll then see the completion of that order here. So you have the ability to download that particular document. This naturally isn't the one that I did, but there's really a 3-step process that you'll get. You'll get confirmation that it's been lodged for submission. You'll get details of the order based upon the information that you've submitted, so you can check it. And 3, you'll get the fact that the document is actually ready and you can download it. And most importantly, you'll then be able to access it from here as well. Okay, so that's the process on the Smarter SMSF platform, and we're going to talk to more of the features a little bit later on in the week as part of some of our other sessions, in particular on Thursday with our push and send features here, and in particular our workflows. What I do want to do now is, however, show you the difference with what we've done within the Simple Fund 360 platform. So let's jump over into here. And what you can see is once you go into BGL here, we have the connect button. So this is where you can access SuperStream, your lodgements and all this sort of stuff. And there's an order documents button. Now, what this is doing is this is in a one-click process, bringing you across and authorizing you to order documents via Smarter SMSF. Okay, so just as you did with the connection through here, you have the ability to connect to Simple Fund 360 through here. And it's in essence a streamlined process using single sign-on to enable you to choose a fund and then go through and order the document, just as we did when we ordered a new investment strategy through here as well. Okay, so you have multiple ways in which you can order documents, subject to which sort of path works for you. And I know a lot of you are probably just working through Simple Fund each and every day. So we do see a lot of orders obviously coming through the Simple Fund 360 integration that we have here. So this will just take a little bit, making sure got all the information that we need. As I said before, if you're a first time to sign on, it will have an additional screen here that requires you to choose which way you want to do it. But once you have authorized, so you can see it's getting the relevant token, checking our system to make sure that you're in there. And then it checks within BGL, obviously, and then it gets you into the platform here. Now, it'll look very similar to what you have seen already. And you can see in here, it's got all of the relevant documents that we have. Now, I'm going to go and use the investment strategy form to show you, in essence, the same thing. So the first thing you can see here is there is a reduced fee for the investment strategy report compared to what you saw on the Smarter SMSF platform over here. Okay, so that's where you find that point of difference. But if you order it through here, you will actually still pay the same fee based upon the tag that you have within our platform as well. But what we have as a key difference in here is under the order document, rather than having to connect, you are already connected as part of the process. So all you're now doing in here is you are choosing the Citizen Superannuation Fund, and then all of the information that we had populate on our form over here is being done in identical way, but ultimately we've just got that single connection having been done through this first step when we chose to connect our Simple Fund 360 software into Smarter SMSF. So again, the same principles that we were talking about before. In this instance, I'll just choose to there, and it's obviously brought that up. So a little bug there to fix, but all of the same process is applying here. So we're going through, yes, we'll do our existing fund. We'll say they've got heavy asset concentration, real property, percentage. Now you can see here it's got other address. Okay, so that's the example I was showing you before. So if we go up here, press the space bar, hit 350, go down to here, and you can now see the address. So very simple little tip there to do. Choose our chairman, and away we go. Okay, so same process, just sort of we've fast-tracked that integration piece here to enable that order to occur as well. So that's the process. Again, you've got the saved orders area to enable you to go in and save an order and view it. We don't have the same level of detail around the users console here that we do on our own platform. So that is one area that we may look to build out over time with the BGL one, but it really deals with the, call it the one-to-one situation. If you're getting clients that are, or you got staff that will order documents, complete them, sort of move on. But if you are doing processes internally and you need people to be able to save orders, you might have offshore staff, you might have admin staff, then I'd probably suggest that you use our new documents platform to undertake that, because you'll have more control. So I'm just going to close that one. You're going to have more control over being able to see what's happening from a document point of view. And again, you've got the same sort of functionality that sits off the back of these order forms to be able to see what's being completed. So I don't know why that's loading. Thinking about it. But again, it's all predicated off the back of the same sort of functionality with completed orders. Okay, so you'll be able to download the document. In the saved areas, you're going to be able to see the document, reset the document if you have a document there, et cetera, et cetera. I'll need to go back and work that bit out. But the other thing, so the ability to download documents and reset would be the key elements that you can see there as well. So let's jump back in. If there's anything specific around those particular forms, I'm more than happy to sort of talk through a couple of those, but ultimately the ordering of a document is a relatively straightforward process. So what was most important is to understand how you can connect to the Simple Fund 360 software and some of the functionality that sits around that. So what I should do actually is just to explain what happens when you do order something like a new SMSF. So what you can see in here is that you have both the ability to send a document. So it would enable you to go, are you ready to send this information to set it up in Simple Fund 360? And by choosing that, it will then push that information through. So if I go back to home here, I think I was trying to delete it before so it wouldn't come up again. But we have, it was called D2, M2, nope. I'll come back and I might hit send there. So that's our T2, D2 fund there. So if I go back in here, it won't take that long, but in essence, once that's been posted in here, you'll then be able to see your fund. But equally, if we go into our citizen fund and we want to send documents to, it enables us. So here's a good example. We've just lost our connection here. So we would need to then reset our connection to make sure that we can then send that information through. Okay, so it would require us to be able to go back in, reset the connection that you can see here. So it might say it's still green, but we simply just need to refresh it to make sure that that information or the token is in essence reconnected. But I'm going to jump into Citizen here. And if we go to our documents, you'll see at the very top here, we've got our new SMSF document that was done for our T2 D2 fund that I was talking about before. So we can then add the other tags and stuff that we seem relevant around the actual transaction or the detail. They've got the ability to do all that, but that enables you to go in and send that information back into Simple Fund and then do with it what you choose to do thereafter. So let's move back to our slides and finish up with a couple of final things around the integration. So I guess why Smarter? So we have naturally a award-winning range of technical expertise. So we've a lot of reasons why people come to us is about the fact that we have our specialist knowledge. We have a technical team that is an award-winning technical team to be able to help not only on the education side, but implementation, that we get support tickets literally each and every day. Who do we work with is a really good question, because we do see different journeys with different types of firms. So we see general practitioners that might have 5 funds, 10 funds, and so forth. And the big thing that in their mind is how do I know that I'm doing this right? Am I doing all the right steps that need to be done? And I need to have someone that I can trust knows what they're doing. So the fact that the importance of that it being done and being done correctly is first and foremost. And then it's, well, yeah, if I can use an integration, great, but it's not the end of the world if I do it. What we then do see, and we see a lot of firms that we work with in this space that have dedicated specialist businesses or divisions within their firm. And this is why we spent a lot of time on our orders console and some of the functionality that I showed you earlier, because there are teams then that are then involved that really know their way around SMSFs. But what they want, and they know the importance of the connection of documents to the deed, like the pension documents. And then what they want to do is, once the due diligence has been done, they want a consistent and efficient experience. They want to be able to hook up to their BGL software, and they want to be able to order that document that enables them to go through and do that seamlessly each and every time. Okay, and then if something goes awry, which it does, then they can go, all right, how do I access support that enables me to keep moving, get the document fixed, get the integration working, whatever it is, or we need a tweak to this document for a different set of circumstances. So we have the ability to track those tickets. You'll be able to log those, like I said, through email or through the platform themselves, and then ultimately go from there. So we see ourselves in the marketplace as being different to our competitors because of the depth of knowledge. We know what we're good at. We're not going in and offering a myriad of documents that might be relevant right across public practice. We stick to SMSF because we know we are the best at that in our industry. And it's therefore the documents that we create go much deeper than any of our competitors. And these are just some of the different areas that we've highlighted in here where we talk about, and we demonstrated today with investment strategies, the things like asset concentration. Well, how are we overcoming that particular issue to be able to provide information to the auditor? How are we within our deed enabling the most current and accurate information that ensures that things like potentially Div 296 are coming on board, and recent case law and the impact of those sorts of things, or with our pension documents and the ability to add or remove reversionary beneficiaries midstream. All those things really come down to what we see as level 4 extended thinking, and the ability to critique how the law works and then how it might apply to certain documents and situations. So this is where our point of difference is in the marketplace. Yes, we believe that within SMSF, we don't have a peer that goes deeper than what we do in this space, but we know where our limitations are, and that's why we're not going into other areas of non-SMSF, like family trusts and the like as well. In terms of how our packages work, we do have different packages to suit different sizes of businesses. So you can start at just 25 documents over a 12-month period, and it takes you all the way through to what we have as a customizable package. So a fully tailored option, and that really suits much larger organizations. We've got some firms that are doing 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000 documents a year with us. So if you sort of fit that narrative, then talk to us about the Create Plus packages. The other side is if you're not sure how many documents that you can do, you can get in contact with us and we can sort of walk you through what that might look like, ask you the questions to get an understanding. And in a lot of instances, the answer might be, well, look, a Create 100 is right for you, but you're just not sure. Well, you're going to be better off maybe starting with a Create 50 and then uploading or updating that as and when your subscription sort of kicks along. And it's not uncommon then that we see people upgrade through the year once they sort of realize what that run rate actually looks like. So there is a very easy approach to be able to upgrade and make changes to the subscription along the way. Now, we do have an opportunity here for you as part of our integrations week, as our end of financial year offer. If you do look to take advantage of any of our subscriptions, you will get a 1 month free. So you can see the subscription coupon code there. If you pay annual, you'll get the 13 months free. So the renewal won't happen until thereafter. If it's done as a monthly thing, well, then we'll shift the next deduction in essence. So if you've got a couple of questions around that, David Devine, who's our sales and development manager, would be more than happy to have that conversation with you. And noting as well that we will be making changes to our subscription rates for new subscribers, so new subscribers only, from the 1st of July. So a couple of reasons there to take advantage of our packaging and pricing as it stands before 30 June. So what's ahead? We'll continue to do a lot more work around our new platform that we were showing you today. We've got a little bit more that we'll be highlighting later this week as part of Smarter SMSF's Integrations Week. Our user console, as we said, there's more enhancements to that console that we'll be providing. We're expanding our Smarter Legal Review. We didn't really get a chance to go through that today. It really wasn't part of it, but we will be actually doing a Smarter Legal Week at the end of July. So keep an eye out for that. We'll be talking more about that from next week. And we'll be adding more features to our two-way integrations with BGL. So things like the trust deed updates. So if you do an update via Smarter SMSF, you'll be able to post that deed, not only the deed back, but you'll also then be able to make some updates automatically within Simple Fund 360 as well. And then our doc flows. So we see more and more work being done in this area to enable data to pass from one form to another, to enable you to create a document workflow around a number of strategies that you might be talking to clients about each and every day, and potentially then doing those between different team members within the organization. So a lot of that work's happening on our new document platform. So at this stage with the BGL work, the integrations there via that platform, we won't be necessarily building those doc flows at this point within the dedicated BGL platform. So again, it's just balancing these things out in terms of what's most important around how you might be getting that work done, noting that you can connect your BGL data in either way, shape or form, as I'd highlighted today. And most importantly, as we make these changes, I encourage you to turn up to the BGL Simple Fund 360 and Simple Invest 360 monthly updates, where I join Jeevan Toki from BGL, and we go through all of these new features that are happening, not only within the Simple Fund 360 products, but I provide a little bit of a technical update and what is also happening on the Smarter SMSF front as well. So that's pretty much it from me today. Thank you for joining us. Like I said, we do have a range of additional integration sessions this week. So tomorrow we'll be looking at the class integration. On Wednesday, yes, we'll be looking at the Supermate integration. And on Thursday, we'll be spending more time looking around the Smarter SMSF establishment process. So what does it look like from that doc flows point of view, how we're pushing that data back into our software, and ultimately how you can save time through from the company order to the new SMSF, down to your ABN, and much, much more. We'll be releasing a whole range of events in our calendar for the back half of the year in the next week or so as well. So you can always go on to smartersmsf.com/events to find out more. Other than that, I think we'll leave it there. If we have any other questions, please feel free to ask them now. But otherwise, hope you get through to 30 June. Have a great rest of the week and bye for now.